Go. When I ran for mayor, I said I was going to tax the rich. Today, I'm thrilled to announce that this year we did incur tax. First in New York's history, this is annual fee on luxury properties whose owners do not live full-time in the city. Like for this penthouse.
All right, guys. So yeah, we are live. I'm live here, doing a recap on. I'm doing a recap on the incident that took place. Well, the recap on what happened today at the courthouse in Lower Manhattan. So I'm just doing a recap. Now, the recap is actually stating exactly what was given in court today, and from what I discussed initially at the courthouse today, from what I got here today as a report, it seemed to mean I thought it was just two charges. Two charges. Now the judge is saying 8 charges. All right, and those 8 charges include conspiracy and material support to foreign terrorist organization and the use of weapon of mass destruction. Now, from two charges that what I taught, it were 2 charges. Now it's 8 charges now, and like I told you guys today earlier on, I said once the judge gets into this trial, we will eventually get a little bit more clarity and see the depth of what we know or what I know. All right. So I will give you guys a ballpark to be like, you know what? It might be 2 charges. Well, the 2 charges that I talked about today at the courthouse, those 2 charges are inclusive in the 8 charges that the judge leveraged against the 2 young teens, 18 and 19. Now, the judge stated that they were self-radicalized. That's what the judge says. The judge says that they were self-radicalized. What I taught, they were ISIS radicalized. But the judge said, now these 18 and 19 years old, they were self-radicalized. So when you become self-radicalized, it means that you probably consuming materials that are terroristic materials that will probably lead anyone to become self-radicalized. So what I taught, to be honest, was, you know what? These kids were influenced by ISIS to come to New York City and bring up the terroristic or the bomb to blow people up. That's what I taught. To be honest, that's what I taught. I thought they were motivated or got some support for ISIS to come to New York City and carry on this terroristic act. But the judge stated in court, no, these kids were self-motivated. All right. And the judge also stated that if that explosion would have gone off at our Gracie Mansion, 60 or more people would have been dead. If that explosion that these kids, Iman, Blatant, and Ibrahim, Kayuma, if that explosive would have gone off, 60 or more people would have been dead. All right? That's what the judge says. And the judge specifically indicated where that action took place. The judge stated right outside of the current mayor, Madani. Now, this is what the judge says. It says, during the protests, Balat, the 18 years old, allegedly threw a homemade explosive that contained TATP explosive that had nuts and bolts in them. You see, I didn't know I didn't know what that explosion or the explosive materials those kids had. I thought it was just chemical based. That's what I thought. I thought it was just chemical based. But the judge in court today broke it down. It just wasn't just chemical inside of those chemicals, but it had nuts and bolts in there and nails in there. So if that explosion would have exploded the way it was intended, it means nuts, bolts, what you call it, nails would have just flown. And mind you, folks are protesting. Just imagine if you got bolts or nuts and screw just flying. Anybody at any given time can be affected from that. Can be affected from that. And I'm glad that today the judge broke that down to give me a little bit more clarity as to what this case is going to be. The judge says, no, these young men, Emir, Balat, and Ibrahim, Kayumi, these two young kids from Pennsylvania, they're not just charged with 2 counts. That's what I thought. When I went live today, I said it would be 2 counts. Today the judge stated it will be 8 charges against these 2 young teens from Pennsylvania. 1 2 1 2. Okay, good. If you guys can hear me, let me know, right? If you guys in the live, you got any question, let me know. And make sure you follow me, guys. Make sure you follow me. Following the arrest, the men pledged allegiance to ISIS. Now, the judge says, before these 18-year-old and 19 years old made up their mind to come to New York, close to the current mayor office, they had already made it known on social media. We pledge allegiance to ISIS. So that's what the judge was saying. No, they were self-radicalized. ISIS did not radicalize these kids. They were self-radicalized. They chose. The matter of fact, it was already premeditated. These kids had posts on social media how they were going to go close to the current mayor in New York City, Madani. And the protests that were happening right in front of his home, they were going to blow that thing up where it would result into historical event. They posted that on social media. The judge stated that these young kids posted that and pledged allegiance to ISIS, right? These young kids, 18 and 19. Now, this is what the judge stated that Emir, the 18 years old, stated on social media. This is how immature these young kids are. Immature. You go on social media, you know, you want the world to know, you want your peers to know, you want other people to know what you're going to do, the harm that you're going to create. You want people to know that you got this explosion. These kids are young, 18 and 19, they're young. They're on social media letting people know, look, man, I got this explosive. This explosive when it blow up, it's gonna go this way, it's gonna go that way. I got bolts in there. I got nails in there. These kids on social media, premeditated, talking about what they're gonna do tomorrow at the mayor office during the protest, the mayor home during the protest. Tell us more. How you doing, Terrible? What are they gonna do? Young teen, very young. Staying on social media. Oh, tomorrow we are going to New York City. We are leaving Pennsylvania, going to New York City. Oh, there's a protest in front of Mayor Madani home. We are going there. You see all these bombs and these explosives that we got. These are things that we're going to use. And if this goes off, this is what it's going to do. That's exactly what he kept saying. This is what it's going to do. This is what's going to happen. And they broke that down on social media. That's what the judge said. The judge says that Balat, the 18 years old, stated on social media that this is going to be the biggest explosion, and not only the biggest explosion, but it would be greater than the Boston Marathon bombing. That's what the kids stated on social media. This event that we're going to go to New York City, it's gonna be the greatest explosion. That's what their mindset on social media. So the judge said that they were self-radicalized. Thought they were ICE radicalized, but no, the judge claimed they were self-radicalized. Hey guys, if you're getting live here, just hit that button and follow me, guys. All right, make sure you click on follow me, because tomorrow I'll be at another courthouse tomorrow, bringing some more information. I want you guys to be live with me, right? Now, I'm gonna give you guys what the judge discussed today in court, all right? And that's what I'm gonna give you guys. So you guys who are with me today at the courthouse today, I'm gonna give you guys a little breakdown on what the judge stated in contrast to what I said before I went in. Now let's look at what the judge stated here, right? The judge said some stuff more than I did. The two men accused of attempting an ISIS-inspired, this is what the judge called it. It's amazing, man. The judge is genius. The judge says these two men are accused of attempting an ISIS-inspired bombing at Gracie Mansion on the 17th. ISIS-inspired. Imam Balat, 18, and Ibrahim Kayumi, 19, she said that they were ICE-inspired, self-inspired. That's what she said. They were never directly inspired by ICE, but instead they were self-inspired. And they pleaded not guilty. These kids, amazing to me how the kids in federal court, and they're saying that they're not guilty. Even though we got evidence of proof, even though they were arrested with all the explosion. I was there when the explosive were removed from their car. But it's amazing how the kids in court saying that, look, listen, judge, we not guilty. Basically, they're saying, look, we didn't do it. We didn't come to New York City. I mean, the kids are saying that. They're not even saying, oh, we're guilty. But hey, we're not guilty, judge. We're not guilty. Now, this is what the judge added on. And I'm going to tell you exactly what the judge added on here, all right? The judge says, conspiracy to use weapon of mass destruction. And then attempted use. Ooh. Conspiracy to use weapon of mass destruction. Attempted use of weapon of mass destruction. That's small right there. Now, attempted use of mass destruction, meaning that explosion did not fully exploded. Thank God to NYPD. Thank God to God above. If that would have exploded with those people protesting, man, it would have been outrageous. Attempting to provide material to foreign terroristic group called ISIS. Now, this is where it gets a little, I don't want to say complicated in my opinion, but this is where it gets a little interesting. That these kids were supplying ISIS with foreign materials. 18 years old, 19. When I was 18 and 19, what was I doing? Going to college? What was I doing? Not playing video game, but playing basketball. What was I doing? Running track? I was doing something productive. I can never imagine at the age of 18 and 19, a couple girlfriends. I always had girlfriends. So what was I doing at the age of 18 and 19? But instead, these two young men at the age of 18 and 19 were making a plan to come to New York City from Pennsylvania to blow up this city. At the age of 18 and 19. When you're 18 and 19, let me see in the chat. Okay, Romans 10:19. I love it. When you're 18 and 19, you guys in the chat, help me out. If you're 18 and 19, what do you really do at that age? At that age of 18, 19, what do you really do? You know, maybe girlfriend is obvious. You know, if you're a gamer, you game more, or you hang out more, or you do some, but I don't think at the age of 18, 19, you plan on coming to a city to bomb a city. You know what I mean? Times just changed now. You know what I mean? Times changed. Now the judge says attempting to provide materials to a foreign terrorist organization. Carrying explosive. Like I told you guys again, I was there when NYPD removed the explosive from their car. Now this is where it gets critical, right? These kids had more explosive weapons, explosive material, let me call it material, in their car as compared to what they had on them. The one they had on them in the midst of the protest, that did not go off as they expected to go off. But they would have gone back to that car and I gotten the real explosive weapon, explosive bomb, so to speak. And they would have come over there and dropped that bomb. And today in New York City, we would have had another episode that would have just destabilized this city completely. The judge says carry explosive during the commission of federal felony. Carrying explosive during the commission of a federal felony. Carrying an explosive. I mean, they did. They carried an explosive. They did carry that. And then the last charge that the judge stated, so let me say one. Boy. 1, 2, 1. What's going on here? One, two, one, two. Okay, okay. All right, guys. Sorry. My phone, my microphone went dead. All right. So the last one the judge stated on the charge is unlawful possession of destructive devices. Unlawful possession of a destructive devices. Now the judge already listed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 charges on these two individuals. Now, intended evidence from a recovered notebook and dash camera recorded indicate the pair hoped to kill up to 60 people. So the kids, this is how you know that this is still young. They don't have that that maturity to I mean, the kids on social media, they're on social media, and this is why it amazed the judge. These kids on social media, telling the people on social media, it's like me on social media right now, telling you guys, like, listen to me. I'll be in LA tomorrow. I'm gonna blow a certain spot in LA, and I'm gonna show you guys what I'm gonna do. The explosive. I'm gonna show you guys live what I'm gonna do, and I'm hoping that 100+ people die. These kids went on social media making that known. Making it known. This is what we're going to do on this day, on this time. We will be in New York City, right in front of Gracie Mansion, where the new current mayor lived. And we know there will be people protesting. And our goal here is to make sure 60 people are dead. That's their goal. Now, I'm going to show you guys live what we got in this explosive. I'm gonna show you guys live. So they made a homemade bomb, and they publicized this homemade bomb on their live, so people can see the explosive that they made and how they're gonna use that explosive in New York City to kill 60 people. That to tell you 18 and 19. Immature. Got all the time in the world to make great decisions. Came from a great family. Chose to be self-radicalized. That's what the judge said. Because what I thought that they were ISIS radicalized, but the judge stated no, they were not ISIS radicalized. As a matter of fact, these young kids were funding ISIS or ICE. All right? I don't understand how they got the money. I don't understand what job they had going on. I don't understand what materials that they were giving to ISIS, but the judge is going to break that down as this trial continues. Now, their next court date, and I will be there, will be on, let me see what the next court date will be. June 16. That will be the next court date. And at this point in time, I think it's going to get a little bit more critical. Now, this is what the judge described their premeditated or the preconceived or immature mindset as premeditation. Someone said it today in the live. They said it was premeditated, and you are absolutely right. It was premeditated, and the judge described that as a premeditated attempt to come to New York City from Pennsylvania to carry on that clandestine act. Now, civilian footages alleged showing the suspect purchasing bomb-making materials in Pennsylvania. Right? Civilian evidence showing these two young teens that technically, to me, my opinion, should be in school. Technically, my opinion, they should be still at home supervised. Technically, my opinion, they should be thinking about something else than trying to come here and kill other people. But again, you know, nowadays you can't tell these young kids no more what is best and how they should navigate. I mean, the kids assume that they know more than we do. So the judge stated that their whole activities up to the point in time that they came to New York City, it were all being monitored. And that's amazing. It was monitored. FBI agent also found explosive residue in a storage unit rented by Balat days before the explosion. So now, these kids came in here to New York City. Now, from what I'm looking at here, they came into New York City few days before, got a storage, and in that storage, that's where they assembled that explosive. Let me be very clear here. I'm going off the leap and assuming that. Let me go in the live a little bit here. Is your name Walter F. White? No, my name is now Walter F. White. No. My name is. If you guys want to follow me or Google me and know who you're talking to, SDWJ as Jack, R. Robert. So let's say S as Sam, D as David, W as Wilson, D as R as J as Jack, and R as Robert. Let me go back over that again. S as Sam, D as David, W as Wilson, J as Jack, R as Robert. Look me up and you will understand who's talking to you. I'm not only just a journalist, but you will get a little bit more details about me. And I own an online news outlet that is called TBA News Network. That's the one I'm on right now, and you can Google that. It tell you a lot more about me. Okay. Now, so if you got any question in life, ask me. Okay. If you want to know my name, let me know. Both men were tackled and arrested on site by NYPD. While in custody, Balat, the 18 years old, repeatedly signed a written pledge of allegiance to ISIS. Yeah. Pledge allegiance to ISIS. Now the defendants are currently being held without bond and are scheduled, like I said again, to be in court June 16, 2026. So today, you guys who are with me live at the court today, I want to applaud you guys at the court. He said, now I know he is dumb as a box of rock. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You know, you guys are free to say what you want to say. Look me up, SDWJR, look me up. So yeah, so to just sum things up here, the judge stated 8 charges, not 2 charges, because initially I told y'all before I went into the court that it was it was 2 charges, right? I told you guys it were materials being supplied to a foreign terroristic group. That is inclusive in there. The second one was weapon of mass destruction. That also was inclusive in the judge 8 charges. And let me recap that. Recap the rest of the charges here that the judge leveraged against these 2 teens. Conspiracy to use a weapon of mass destruction. Number 2, attempted to use of a weapon of mass destruction. Number 3, attempting to provide material supply to foreign terroristic organization ISIS. That one was included. I mentioned that. That's included. Carrying explosive during the commission of a federal felony. That's number 4. Number 5, unlawful possession of a destructive devices. And the judge also said a resistance of arrest by federal law enforcement, and also residues in a storage. That also a charge in a storage that was not intended for the explosion. So yeah, guys. So any question in the live here, guys, talk to me. Any question? Gene, Eddie Box, how you guys doing? Any question here, guys? That's where we are now. That's where we are. 8 charges. Imam Balat, the 18 years old kid, and Ibrahim Kayumi, 19, plead not guilty today on federal terrorism and weapon charges today as they arraignment in Manhattan federal court today. So these 2 kids, both U.S. citizens. Both of these kids are U.S. citizens. Were they originally from Pennsylvania and were indicted on 8 federal counts. If convicted on the most severe charges, they face a maximum sentence of life in prison. Now, remember, I told y'all this morning at the courthouse this morning that I was giving each of these kids 15 years apiece based on the 2 charges. But now that the judge stated it's 8 charges, the judge stated if they are convicted on severe charges, they will face life in prison. Now, just imagine 18 years old, 19, going to jail for a lifetime. I mean, we saying about 80 years in jail, 70 years in jail, depending on how long they live for. Their whole life is just wasted. Yeah, it's sad, man. It's sad. The whole life is wasted. And I believe now that they will be convicted, and they will serve life in jail, in prison. Because 8 criminal charges, conspiracy to use a weapon of mass destruction, that in itself carries 20 years in jail, 20 flat. Attempting to use of a weapon of mass destruction, that in itself is another 20 years, that 40. And then attempting to provide materials to a foreign terrorist organization, that is another 20 years, that is 60 years. Carrying explosive during the commission of a federal felony, that is another 20, that's 80 years in jail. And then unlawful possession of a destructive device, another 20 years. And I just listed 5. That's 100 years right there. So it makes sense why the guy's doing life in prison, why they are doing life. Now I know he is a dumbass box of rocks. Thank you. So that's where we are. That's where we are. Yeah. That's where we are. That's where we stand right now. Make sure, guys, you follow me, hit that like button for me. And if you got any question in the live, let me know. So basically, that's a recap from today. What unfolded. These young kids' intention was to kill at least 60 people. That's what the judge stated. 60 for the most part. Yeah. And they were on social media making it obvious to their peers what they were going to do and how they were going to do it, and what the bomb or the explosive that they created, what it contains, and the impact that it will have once that bomb is exploded. Interesting, you know what I mean? We're in a different times now where our young kids can utilize their social media platform as a means to share some of these content that is not only going to later on hunt in a hunt, but instead this is what happening right now. 80 years in prison. 80 years in prison. This is not typical. This is not something that I don't know how the parents feels about this. I don't know how their family member felt about this. But again, they were self-radicalized. What I thought that they were ICE radicalized, they're self-radicalized. And one of the most dangerous things, one of the most dangerous, in my opinion, is being self-radicalized. That's one of the most toughest, to be honest, that you can imagine, being self-radicalized. It's the most toughest you can imagine. Any question alive, guys? Any question alive? Let me take a few questions alive here. Let me read something alive. Let me read what some people said. Tell us more. Tell us more. Someone's read a scripture here. Hit the like button for me. Yes, guys. Any question, guys? Any question thus far? Someone told me, why do I wear the Trump hat? I don't think the Trump hat look cool on you. I don't think you should wear the Trump hat. And I think we had a long discussion today. And I think I explained myself as to why I'm wearing this hat. Also, I think I had my T-shirt on, and I will question on my T-shirt I had on. Yeah. So yeah, I just told you guys that I would do a recap before I head in and get some rest. So yeah, 8 charges against Emir, Balat, and Ibrahim Kayumi. Both actually are considered Muslims. Are Muslim. Both are radical. I hate to use the word what the judge said that they were self-radicalized. And also I would agree, because I don't want to say I want to be very mindful. I don't want to say all Muslims are. That would be totally irrational for me to say that. It would be more demeaning or disrespecting the Muslim faith to say all Muslim are, because that wouldn't be true. But what really kind of make me to have that thought to say they cannot be self-radicalized. If the Muslim, most of us on the western part of the globe, we see Muslim. When people say the Muslim, we contribute or we draw or we attach them to something that we'll call terrorism or explosion or weapon or self-destruction, some of that sort. But it took me off. It took me off a little bit today when the judge said, "Oh, they're self-radicalized," and I was like, "Well, they're Muslim," you know what I mean? But it was just, you know what I mean, me trying to digress and correct myself that they were self-radicalized, regardless if they're Muslim. Not all Muslim are terrorists. Let me be very clear now. All right, so they were self-radicalized, even though they're Muslim, but they were self-radicalized. So they did this on their own. You know what I mean? That's what the judge said. They were not influenced by ISIS, but they were supplier. And that's where I want to see what June 16 will be, as to whether the judge is going to really specifically indicate what supply that they provided to ISIS. Whether it was monetary supply, whether it was something more like explosive, or whether they render their own services, because you can render your own services to ISIS and will still be looked at as in the sight of the judge, it will still be looked at as you giving your time to ISIS. So I can't wait for June 16 to see how well the judge is going to dive into this case, because I think this case already, in my opinion, it has so much texture to this thing here, where the judge had elevated their charges from 2 charges to 8 charges, and if they are convicted, the judge is giving them life in prison. You know what I mean? And today on one of my live, I think I asked y'all to do what I call a AI search, as a way to determine how long these 2 kids will serve time in jail. I did not foresee lifetime in prison, as the judge stated. I did not see that. I just said they might do 30 years, period. Since one is 18, one is 19, 30 years, they probably come out 48, 49. But the judge said no. If they are convicted on severe charges, they are serving life in prison. Just imagine going to jail at the age of 18 and 19. Life in prison for something that is not worth it at all. It's not worth it at all. But spending that life in prison, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Yeah. So that's where we are, man. That's where we are. It's almost what time it is in New York City. What time it is in New York City now? It's about 8:28. I love you guys, man. Today after the court, I went live today. After I left the court, I went to what event did I go to today? There was a journalism award day. How do you call it? You call it? Hold on. Let me look that up real quick here. I went to some award today where what journalists were assembling today, getting awards for taking certain stand, in their cities against some say against false incarceration. Another said it was against forced reporting. Some folks said it was for colleges and universities that use student identification or identity to exploit the school, to exploit student, something of that kind. So I was in there today for at least about an hour and a half today. I never been to any journalism forum of that magnitude, and that was interesting today, to be honest. Interesting. I went live so you guys can get on, but yeah, so I love you guys, man, and God bless. Good night. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Make sure you follow me. Make sure you hit that like button, and make sure you subscribe to me. So tomorrow when I'm going live, because if you guys know, I'm always doing court cases. I'm always doing crime cases. I'm always doing different cases in New York City. So when I go live, at least you would know and get on and see what's going on. I love you guys, and God bless. All right? From my heart, man. I love y'all.